What if I told you that being smart isn't really about having all the answers? What if sometimes it actually looks a lot more like confusion and maybe even a little bit of chaos? Today we are going to dig into the surprising and, often messy habits of a high IQ mind. So let me just start by asking you this. What if that pile of papers on your desk, or the fact that you can never seem to remember names, what if that isn't a sign you're failing? What if it's actually a clue that your brain is just busy prioritizing deep, complex thoughts over, surface-level tidiness? Let's dive into that idea. Okay, first things first. Before we can really get what true intelligence is all about, we have to learn how to spot the fake version. A lot of us, myself included sometimes, can fall into these intellectual ego traps. These are behaviors that are just designed to make us look smart. So let's break down exactly what those are.
First up, we've got a real classic. You've seen this happen, I'm sure. A conversation turns into a debate, and suddenly the goal isn't to understand something better, it's just to crush the other person. That's all ego. A genuinely intelligent mind is curious. It wants to find the truth, even if that means having to admit, hey, I was wrong. The performance, though, is all about winning.
Here's another one you'll probably recognize. Somebody starts dropping these huge, complicated words when a simple one would work just fine. Look, using a ton of jargon or overly complex language isn't a sign of genius. Honestly, more often than not, it's kind of like a smokescreen to hide the fact that they don't really understand something. True intelligence is all about clarity, not making things complicated. And this one might hit a little close to home for some of us. Have you ever caught yourself just rambling on, over-explaining a really simple point? That usually comes from a place of insecurity, right? It's this need to prove you know what you're talking about. But the quiet confidence that comes with a truly sharp mind, well, it doesn't feel the need to fill every bit of silence. It's all about precision. So when you boil it all down, it's really about a totally different motivation. One path is completely about perception. It's about winning arguments, sounding smart, and just projecting this image of confidence. The other path, though, is about actual growth. It's about seeking truth, communicating clearly, and being brave enough to just say, you know what, I don't know. The goal literally shifts from needing to be right to just wanting to get it right.
Okay, so if all those ego traps are just a performance, what does genuine intellectual growth actually feel like? Well, the surprising answer is, it often feels pretty uncomfortable. It is not a smooth ride. It's a process that's really defined by friction.
Now this is absolutely crucial. If you've ever found yourself making decisions way more slowly, or you feel this kind of mental friction when you're trying to learn something new, that's not a bad sign. It's an amazing sign. It means your brain is basically upgrading its own software. It's moving past simple A to B thinking to process the world with so much more nuance and complexity. This whole process is the exact opposite of those ego traps we talked about. You run into a new, really complex idea, and instead of just pretending you get it, your brain slows way down. It struggles. That friction you're feeling? That's your brain literally carving out new pathways. It's the hard work that leads to a real, genuine breakthrough in your understanding. So we know that getting smarter feels like friction on the inside. But what does it look like on the outside? Well, a lot of the time, it just looks messy. Sometimes it even looks a little weird. Let's dive into some of the habits that might seem like flaws, but are actually powerful signs of a mind that's really, really hard at work. This quote right here gets to the heart of it all. Intelligence is about trade-offs. A high IQ mind only has so much energy, and it's always making choices about what matters most. And you know what? A lot of the time, organizing the physical world just takes a back seat to organizing these huge, complex, creative ideas inside the mind. This comparison just feels so validating, doesn't it? On one side, you've got a brain that's fantastic with surface details. And hey, that's a real skill. But on the other side, you have a mind that is so totally wrapped up in abstract ideas and making creative connections that it just lets the small stuff slide. That messy desk, or forgetting a name 5 seconds after you hear it, these aren't character flaws. They're symptoms of a brain that just has a different set of priorities. Let's just quickly break these down. That messy workspace, think of it as the physical evidence of a mind that's deep in a creative battle. Forgetting names, that's what happens when your brain is saving its processing power for the ideas a person is sharing, not just their label. And staying up super late, it's not always about bad time management. A lot of the time, it's the sign of a mind that has latched onto a problem and is just unwilling to let that idea go until it's been fully explored. So,
let's try to bring all this together now. We've kind of debunked the whole performance of intelligence, and instead we've embraced the messy, sometimes uncomfortable reality of what it really means to grow intellectually. And it all really comes down to one key idea.
This right here is the big takeaway. This is what I want you to remember. Stop judging how smart you are based on how it looks to everybody else. It is not about having a perfect memory or a spotless desk. True intelligence is about what your mind decides to focus its energy on. It's about the unique and, yeah, sometimes totally chaotic way your brain prioritizes information to build something new. So I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time you feel slow or disorganized or you're just not feeling smart, try asking yourself this question instead. Shift your focus away from judgment and towards curiosity. What deep, important, and complex thing is your brain so busy working on that it's making you forget where you put your keys? The answer? Well, it just might surprise you.